And just like that, we are back. Another episode of the Beerly Hoops podcast here at the Beerly Sports Network. I'm Trev Scott, per usual, joined with YOTB Dort. You already know what it is. Here to talk some NBA basketball, here to bless your ears. Before we get into all that, Dort, how's it going? How's it hanging? It's been a week.
Life is good. You know what I mean?
Life is great. As an NBA fan, man, last episode we had like nothing to talk about, but we had a pretty entertaining week this week. But before we get into all the basketball, in case you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Beerly Hoops, at Beerly Sports. Got all the other sports up there in the bio. Instagram at Beerly Sports, TikTok at Beerly Sports. But anything you want to plug? Anything going on over there? I know you got some news. You want to tell them now? You want to save it for the end? We got a jam-packed episode today. It's up to you.
News.
Oh, and if you're watching on YouTube, I just got faded. So, all right, go ahead.
You got the fresh clips, man. Nah, I want to say a special shout out to Luna. We didn't get Luna in the episode last week. We had some timing dispute, whatever. So I mean, like, if you watched last week's episode and we're talking like, oh, Luna's gonna be on, this is a Kings episode, and then Luna wasn't on. That was why. We got shirts coming soon, man. Coming soon, man. We got actual merch.
Get your merch. Get your
if
merch.
You don't want to bet. I get it. People don't want to bet. Fine, but this is another way to support us, man. We're trying to do this, and the more support we get, the more we can take it seriously. So that helps. Speaking of helping us like that, bro. We do this a lot where we don't get a review for a month, and then in like a week we get like 40 reviews. So I don't know how that shit works, if I'm being honest. But y'all drop your reviews, man, and send this to a friend. We're doubling in views, like it feels like every week. So I mean, I know y'all are doing something.
It does take a minute to because they don't get posted right away. Because some guy a couple of days ago was listening to a show and he DM'd me and said he left a review. It's still not up yet. So either he was lying or it takes a minute to post. But
if he's lying, fuck that guy. Fuck you, yeah. Really hoops.
Drop your reviews. We'll leave them live on the show. Yeah, that's all. Make sure to keep up with us on the social media. Most entertaining. This is the best. Podcast over at Beerly Sports. The best wing of Beerly Sports. Trust me.
Hey, and I don't want to say fuck you to NBA No Context because I know it's kind of your job to do what you did to me, but like a low key fuck you to NBA No Context. We're gonna talk about it a little later, but
facts. We'll make sure to get into that.
We're definitely gonna get into that.
Nice. So a nice little warm up, a nice little plug up right there. Make sure to get us right on all the social medias. And now, without further ado, as you know, it is time for the best NBA segment in the world, the Dort Report. What do you got for us today, Brody?
Listen, man, the Dort Report's kind of extended today. I got some hot takes on there.
Extended clips. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Bro's a gangbanger on the pod.
Let's get it.
Yeah, we got the hot takes today. And we got some, like, obviously some basketball stuff also happened. I think the biggest thing in the news this week was the KD thing. He said Sean Marks and Nash gotta go or I'm out. What'd you think of that, bro? That was like a weird situation.
They've really been butting heads. I mean, I don't think KD could have really predicted that when he joined, but they have been KD's party, whatever, and then the front office has really been butting heads for ever since he's got there, and it's really came to light the past couple months. So GM said he was sticking sides with the coaching staff. So, it looks like KD might get traded. It looks like he definitely wants to. But, I put out a picture on Twitter. I said, where's KD going to go? I put the Celtics in there. I put the Heat. I put the Suns. And it seems like most of the people think he's going to stay in Brooklyn. So whether that be with Steve Nash, whether that be with any coaching changes, it looks like he's going to be a Brooklyn Net from what the people are seeing. But you really never know. It's just Twitter at the end of the day.
Just Twitter.
I'd like to see him get moved. But
I don't know how you could come to a team and then, like, ask the manager to do all this stuff, tell him to hire Steve Nash, and then say, nah, actually fire Nash and fire the manager that signed me here, or else I'm leaving. Like, I don't know. KD gets like weirder and weirder, I feel like, every week.
I know it's different. Like, I don't know. It's got to be different being in KD's shoes But
Sure.
why not give it a shot? Try it with Kyrie. Try it with Ben Simmons. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they are kind of old. Outside of that, having some youth there would be a little more appealing. But I don't know. Like I saw on Twitter that like what really makes him want to like get out and move is that the Warriors want to chip without him. So maybe he wants to get back on that side of history, start winning some of his own rings again. But I don't know. Is Kyrie enough? I mean,
Seth
you saw
Curry,
Braun. You saw Braun win a.
your boy Seth Curry.
No, Kyrie.
I'm saying Kyrie, Seth Curry, KD, Ben Simmons. That's a good team.
Is it a championship team?
I think it is. I think any team with KD is a contender. And you have Kyrie there too. Ben Simmons, who's underrated. Seth Curry, underrated. I just think they lack a true big. Because who would that be right now? Claxton?
Yeah.
I just don't think Claxton's that guy. If they can make a trade maybe for Miles Turner, throw like some
That might help out a lot.
then yeah. But if you're Brooklyn, I don't think I'd invest anything in this team because you don't know if KD or Kyrie are gonna just like boycott playing games at any point during the season.
Right. Yeah, weird situation. Hopefully we'll see Ben Simmons back, and hopefully he doesn't take part in that drama. They start sitting out, he starts sitting out too. Imagine.
That'd be crazy.
The drama.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch Ben hoop.
Keeping up with the Nets.
Ben, obviously an underrated player. I got my first hot take of the day, man. I think Jokic is starting to become underrated. And I know you had him on your overrated list, but like just hear me out. Hear out what I'm about to say, and then you could either agree or disagree with this take. If you say Jokic is the best player in basketball, you'll get slammed. And I don't think Jokic is the best player in basketball. Keep that in mind. But Jokic did win the last 2 MVPs, so there should be an argument for Jokic being the best player in basketball. With all that, underrated.
Right. Yeah, and we're getting into our first team a little bit later, and without giving away too much of that, I stated a couple guys who are my best complete offensive players in the league, and Jokic is my second. So he's in my top 3. Only reason I think he's overrated is because like just the second half of the season, I just felt like, Embiid didn't get any worse. Like he got worse like come playoff time when he got injured, whatever. But it just seemed like there was what is it called? It's like the story, the narrative. It just kind of seemed like Jokic going, and like the narrative, like the play didn't really change. Jokic was solid, Embiid was solid, and I thought this was Embiid's year. And I was talking to a Nuggets fan a couple weeks ago who said he thought Embiid deserves the MVP this year. But it looked a little like narrative took over the second half of the year because I didn't see a drop off from Embiid when he was number 1. And it seemed like people just got bored and Jokic kind of took it over, which is why I think he's slightly overrated. And I mean, the Warriors this year really, they neutralized Jason Tatum in the finals, and they neutralized, I'll say that loosely, neutralized Nikola Jokic in the first round. They kind of let him get his stats, do his thing, and then just, the rest of the team didn't do anything. But I can see why you think he's kind of underrated. I'm gonna guess. You don't have to tell me. I'm gonna guess he's on your All NBA first team for next year, which by the way is our feature segment. Just keep on listening. We got our predictions for All NBA first team next year. It's gonna be a fun segment. We got a guest on for it, surprise guest. Jokic underrated. Okay,
yeah, that's my take, and I didn't have him in my top 10, but I mean, I don't know. I just think 2-time MVP and people saying he's not like a top 4 player. It's kind of weird to me.
I think he's going to, if he is underrated, he's going to continue to be underrated until he gets
a ring,
a healthy Jamal Murray back, or a Murray and maybe Michael Porter Jr. I mean, he looked horrible at the beginning of last season, but if we could see bubble MPJ again, I know you hate on Jamal Murray, but that's Jokic's Robin. And if they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs, they need him.
Overrated player, dude. Speaking of All NBA first team potential players, the Kings signed Quinn Cook and Kent Bazemore.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
We got an interesting quote from NBA legend Antoine Walker. He said the Heat had a better chance than the Celtics in the NBA Finals. I feel like me and you both said that during the pod, while like the playoffs were going on. Still stand on that? You think the Heat had a better chance than the Celtics?
No.
Really?
I mean, who's to say? I mean, you know what, the way the Warriors defense, who is extremely underrated as a unit, what they did to Jason Tatum and kind of like threw him off his game. If they did that to Jimmy Butler, then what are the Heat gonna do?
I don't think you can do that to Jimmy Butler. As someone who thinks Tatum's a top 7 player in basketball, Jimmy Butler's too tough, man. I think the Heat had a better chance because the Heat play way more physical. They would have roughed up Steph Curry.
But I mean, the defenses, both of those defenses are top tier.
And the Heat, their offense is more like fluid, you know? Like in the half court setting, it's not Jimmy Butler, ISO, and then bam, ISO. It's like you keep the ball moving. You got a lot of guys on that team, especially when like PJ Tucker was there. Lowry was getting in his groove. I don't think Oladipo is back. Was he? Did he play in the playoffs?
I don't think so. I mean, in that matchup, we'd obviously probably have Butler on Wiggins, but how often do you think we would see Butler on Steph?
I think like the last 8 minutes of the game, or if Curry's torching, they would definitely switch that because Butler's one of the best defenders in the league, especially when he's dialed like that. I think personally, this might be a hot take. Another hot take. If the Heat make the finals, to me, they win the championship.
I would have been more okay with that than watching the Warriors win it. I didn't even watch the game 6, like the last 5 minutes. I just turned it off in the bed.
The way Jimmy went down to the Lakers, I don't think the Warriors had it like that to contain that version of Jimmy.
The reason, I mean, we saw what Steph did, and, you know, the defense is both comparable. I think, you know, guys like Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart are all three going to be better guard defenders than anybody on the Heat. I mean, minus, like you said, the last 8 minutes of, or if Curry's starting to get hot, they'll probably throw Jimmy on there. But I think guard defense, like I was not going to watch Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Gabe Vincent run around and try to guard Steph Curry. I think that's a recipe for disaster. I think the Warriors got hot at the right time and they played excellent defense all playoffs. I don't know if it would have been any different.
You call Curry the screen merchant.
No, I have never said that.
You did. You said Curry's not built for one-on-one basketball. Last week.
I didn't say screen merchant, but
same thing. You know,
one-on-one basketball. Is that what Mike James said?
No, that's when we were talking about. That's what Mike James said. Curry was one-dimensional. I should have had this on here too. Well, we'll talk about it, I guess. But you said when we were doing the one-on-one tournament, you were like, Curry's not built for this.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, and one-on-one ISO is. I mean, ISO in a game of 5-on-5 is important. ISO one-on-one is not important. Like, it's the NBA, it's always going to be 5-on-5.
Listen, so that's what I'm saying. If Curry comes off a screen and Bam gets switched on him, that's a matchup.
You think so?
I think Curry's giving him buckets. But you know there's going to be a couple plays in there where Bam just looks like prime Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Big Bam guy over here. You know,
you like Time Lord more than you like Bam, though. But I will say Bam is a lot better on the perimeter. He's a lot quicker.
So, I mean, Bam would have gave him some problems. Jimmy would have gave him some problems. PJ Tucker would have just pressed his ass. No defense there.
Philadelphia 76er, PJ Tucker.
But I mean, I forgot about it. But do you think Curry is one-dimensional? The Mike James quote. I mean, you're a certified Curry hater, so you can say what you want to say. I'm not going to judge you, but one-dimensional?
Nah, he's a system.
Talk.
Thing. I mean, yeah, but like that one dimension is like a whole system. Like that's like.
Then how is that one dimensional?
Because what Mike James, I mean, what was he saying? Like, just get space and shoot?
He was saying like he's like predictable. That's what I feel like. Curry's like the most unpredictable player in the league. If we're being honest, this motherfucker will walk you down and shoot from 40 feet in your face.
Facts.
Predict that shit.
What I heard, I mean, I'm gonna have to listen to this quote again, but I thought what he was saying is basically like all he does is just get space and shoot. But like that's two dimensions right there. Like creating space is a dimension and shooting is a dimension. I mean, if you do it back to back, sure it might look like one thing, but getting space is collapsing a defense. It's probably bringing another defender at you, thus opening up another. I mean, Mike James, you should know this, bruh. You played point guard in the NBA for like half a season. I played wing in like a city league like 2 years ago. Like, come on, Mike.
Bro,
I'm a Curry hater, but I mean, one dimension. Nah, I mean that dimension, whatever you're talking about, is collapsing defenses. It's bringing double teams. It's good passing.
I had the worst adult league game of my life this week, dude.
For real.
I couldn't find the rim. I couldn't find my jersey, so I played in a Westbrook jersey. I shot like 0 for 8.
They were calling you Westbrook?
Nah, they weren't. No one would say shit to me. If we're being honest, look at me, bro. I'm built. Facts. No one's saying shit to me.
Nobody's saying nothing to like a 6'8" Arab dude playing basketball.
Thank you. This is the Mike James quote. That was me buying time to find this quote.
I could tell.
Steph, like how he plays and how he gets stuff off, it's just kind of one-dimensional at times, if that makes sense. He's not the primary ball handler. A lot for a point guard. That kind of bothers me. But he does score off the dribble, so I mean he's a superstar. When you're picking your top 5, you're just kind of nitpicking. That's the full quote. So because he doesn't play on the ball a lot, which isn't really true. I mean, other than Draymond, like with that starting lineup, Curry's.
I know what he's saying. Curry has like drifted away from like traditional. Not that he was ever a traditional point guard, but like drift. I mean, I bet his percentages have went down of like him like dribbling the ball and like running the offense, because like you see so many times 3 screens in a half court set and Draymond just holding the ball until Steph Curry gets open and then hitting him, whichever of those 3 screen works. And I mean, it's not Curry making a play. It's not Curry with the ball in his hands, but shit, it's 3 points more times than not. So
do you think that what he's saying is like Curry's one-dimensional in the sense that he's not a playmaker and he's just like a shooter or a scorer? So it'd be like if basketball was split up, like, you know how 2K got the when you're making a player and it's like defense, scoring, playmaking, then like shooting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like Curry only fills one of those bubbles, and that's what Mike James is saying. Like the 3 basic bubbles of basketball.
I think he used to be a little more balanced, but like they're changing their system a little bit. They had to. They don't have KD anymore. Like Curry needs to be more focused towards scoring. Klay Thompson was injured for a long time. Their second best scorer is Andrew Wiggins, who was an all-star because of K-pop, or Jordan Poole, who's 21, 22 years old. I mean, yeah, I will agree with Mike James that he has become a little bit more one-dimensional in the last couple years, but I wouldn't say he is one-dimensional. I think the system has had to change because it got figured out and they lost KD. And those are 2 very big, monumental changes that they made. Steph has the ball in his hands less. He's still efficient. He still scores. If Draymond's getting the assist instead of Steph, I don't think they care. They just won a championship. Mike James, I think you're still in the so
your mic kind of cut a little bit.
I could tell. I think it was my wife. What's the last thing you heard me say?
You were talking, but like it was just kind of weird. You said Mike James isn't in the NBA, and that I think I'm glad Wiggins hooped at the end of the year, bro, because that K-pop All-Star shit would have been so funny. Like,
yeah,
if Wiggins had like a goose egg in a playoff game, K-pop All-Star would have been trending on Twitter. Speaking on Draymond said the Lakers don't win in 2020 without Kuzma. Because Brandon Ingram, or let me read that again. Lakers don't win in 2020 if they have Ingram because Kuzma fit better. That was a Draymond quote. As a Kuzma stan, another player, another one of your boys in the news. Do you agree with this?
Like Draymond, like why are you even thinking about that? like what? What? I don't know. But I mean, I remember Kuzma was being solid like in the playoffs. Like he was a good third option. He was hitting shots. He was slashing. He was playing defense. I mean, he was trying on defense. But I mean, he came a lot more mature when he got traded, and now we like see that coming to fruition in Washington. But like, I don't know. There's no way to tell. Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma.
It's just a weird thing to say, bro.
Yeah, that is a weird thing. Slow day at the office for the Draymond podcast. Yeah. Billy Hoops would never say some bullshit like that. Some random shit.
We've never talked about random players in our life. BI averaged 27 against the 1 seed. And
Draymond. No, we can talk about that later when we get into Twitter. No, because I want to talk about BI.
We can talk about it later when we get into all NBA first teams.
No way. No way.
So my Mikal thing, obviously, NBA No Context tweets me out. If you guys listen to the podcast consistently, you know why I tweeted Mikal was a superstar. Because, I mean, a couple months ago, honestly, Trevor tweeted the same tweet with KPJ in it, and people were saying KPJ is not a role player. So, I mean, I felt like I had the authority to tweet that Mikal's not a role player. And I had a little, he's a superstar, whatever.
Pissed him off.
I pissed off the streets, bro.
You got me a ratio, though. That was like my third ratio of the day, so I appreciate that.
People are getting banger after banger after banger off on me.
Fried on Instagram, fried on TikTok or Twitter, probably fried on TikTok.
Toasted. So, I mean, like, y'all can get off my dick now. I mean, it's been a full day. I don't think Mikal's a superstar.
Are those people still outside your house or no? Did they leave?
Yeah, they still got the picket fences that say, no Mikal.
I see you got the Suns jersey on. I know you're like a diehard Suns fan. Is that a Mikal jersey?
No, it's a Steve Nash Prime jersey because I was riding for my boy because they're not gonna fire him in Brooklyn. So don't be disrespectful now.
Okay.
Don't be disrespectful now. What I was gonna ask you is, someone on Twitter said Mikal can't be a star player because he only averages 14 points. That was their argument.
You know what?
That a star player could average 14 points?
No. There's only two sides of the game, offense, defense, and we just saw the defensive player of the year average 12. And do you consider Marcus Smart a star?
No, but do you consider like prime Draymond a star? Or like Ben Simmons?
Didn't Simmons average more than that?
He probably averaged like 16. But Draymond, for sure, that's like where he's at.
Well, when I think of star Draymond, I think of those playoffs, those finals games when he's scoring like 30, mid-30s. But if you're averaging 14, I don't think that's enough.
Really?
Because, like, do you call DeJounte a star? He's, like, probably the lowest, like, that I have, like, star. Guys like that. So he's not a superstar to me. And he averaged 19, 9, and 9.
You would say that DeJounte is a star, but Draymond in his prime isn't?
No, Draymond in his prime was a star. Yeah.
That's what he was 14.
I don't think he was 14.
I'm gonna fact check.
I think it's got to be more than that.
It might be like, fuck it, dude. I got tagged again every time I open my damn phone.
If it's close to 20, I think like star, you need to be scoring at least like 18. Unless like your defense, if Smart averaged like 16 or something this year and he was defensive player of the year.
Okay, look. Wow. This surprised me. Draymond actually has never had a season where he averaged more than 14 points.
Really?
Yeah.
What was he back in 15 and 16?
15 was his highest at 14.
14 point what?
Just 14 flat.
Oh, wow. What was his field goal percentage? 50?
Yeah, 49.
49.
That's impressive.
I think he
I
was a
mean,
star in those playoffs, especially a star in the finals. He was the best player
but
in the finals for
you
the.
wouldn't say he's a star in the season, like
If
during
he's
the
averaging
season.
14, I don't know about that. Was that
I
the
don't think
72 and 10 or 73 and 19?
15. Yeah. Would you say Rudy's a star?
Rudy is a defensive star.
So you think DeJounte is better than Rudy? Now I got you in a box.
No, you don't. I've never compared those players before.
But you said DeJounte is a star and Rudy is a defensive star?
Star.
As much as I hate Rudy, I think Rudy's a star player.
What is the average? 14? 12?
15. 15. I think star could be on both sides of the ball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like with Marcus Smart, like he won Defensive Player of the Year, but in my opinion, Rudy Gobert is the best defensive player in the league. If he averages 15, that's good enough to be a star for me.
Yeah, like 14 and 14. That's not star numbers.
That's star, and that's the best defensive player in the league, in my opinion.
I'm not gonna say it, but
and I'll say DeJounte's a star too. He's an all-star. Both of them are all-stars.
I would say DeJounte's a star too. So yeah. There's my point. Put Trevor in a box, as you can see once again.
Whoa, they're both stars. They're both stars. I just had to think about it.
It took you a minute. It took you a minute.
Yeah, I got to think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Undefeated on Barely Debates once again, man. Finally, to wrap up this segment, man. I got my 2K ratings for you. Right?
All right, let's do it.
Let's start. Oh, wait, were you gonna do the thing where you talk about Pro-Am stuff?
I will do that after 2K.
Okay, bet. We'll do that first because I got some of those players on here.
Bet. Well, as you know, summer, we've seen a lot of guys going out there. We saw all pretty much started off with DeJounte, Trey, and John Collins just hooping. Well, it actually started off a couple weeks ago. Bron and DeMar playing in the Drew League, balling out. That was a great game. Stadium was packed. And then, this past week, we saw DeJounte, Trey, John Collins out there hooping. First look at what that Hawks team might look like. And it got a lot of attention, a lot of media all over Twitter. They were just bullying other teams, playing very flashy, very fun. And then we had DeJounte tweet to all my NBA brothers, go get some summer runs in for these kids and people who can't really afford to always watch us play. And, we saw guys like Kyrie go out there. He was messing with guys, like just going crazy. We even saw my boy Brandon Goodwin and his son, Bones Highland, which is like the bench player kind of DeJounte Puleo beef, because there was beef. I don't know if you watched that. I sent it to you on Instagram. My boy B Goody and Bones Highland were going at it. No, that was fun to watch. But yeah, but then we got to see this DeJounte versus Paolo Banchero, this beef, which you didn't like, Twitter didn't like, but I was a fan. I saw nothing wrong with it. Yeah, he might have been doing too much, but it's entertainment. It's hoop.
Way too much, bro. DeJounte, I rode for DeJounte. Mm-hmm. DeJounte's lame, bro. That was some lame shit to do.
I don't think so. I think that was entertaining. I mean, guys play like that at the right. You can't play like that in the NBA. They'll get tossed in the first quarter. And man,
he's never been tough like that. No, not to disrespect anyone, but let's be honest. Even at Washington, DeJounte never was like. And now all of a sudden, DeJounte wants to act hard because Paulo said he's the number one pick. Stop it.
DeJounte is hard.
Telling someone welcome to the league in a Pro-Am is crazy.
That is pretty crazy. He said this is a men's league in a Pro-Am.
The lob off the backboard, that highlight's tough. But once you throw the ball at a dude, bro, like, that is too far. Paolo gave him 40. So, it's like...
Oh, Paolo did his thing, too. Yeah.
Bro, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, we're going to talk about, like, it's a grown man's league. You're a little-ass kid. You had a 19-year-old give you 40. Come on. I didn't like it.
I won't slander DeJounte. He's going to help out my boy Trey. I'm going to have to tap into all these Hawks games this year. And, he's a hard-nosed perimeter defender. He talks his shit. You you never really get to see it. He's playing in San Antonio. He's playing with Pop. Nobody watches Spurs games. But, I mean, we'll get to see it, especially in Atlanta. Yeah. Watch out for the Hawks. Watch out for the Hawks backcourt this year. Trey and DeJounte, that's tough.
Paulo's already better than him.
That's top 4. I don't know about that.
Paulo's a top 50 player already. We've seen, bro. I'm not here to use Pro-Am or Summer League to boost someone, but
he was the best player in the Summer League.
Bro, this man has looked unstoppable everywhere he goes. You think it's going to change in the NBA? Come on.
Okay, that's crazy to say that.
It's not. Because
he was unstoppable in the Summer League, unstoppable in Pro-Am. You think it's going to change when he gets to the NBA? Yes.
No, it won't, bro. I guarantee Paulo will have a couple 40-point games this year.
I can see it. I can see it.
I guarantee it. Guarantee. And I'm not saying that applies to every player, but to a man who's just been out there dogging everyone, he pinned DeJounte on the backboard. I mean, come on, man. We saw Zion dog in the Summer League, and people were like, that's not going to happen in the NBA. And this motherfucker's post-spin dunking on people. I think Paulo's going to be a problem. I wish we had the number 1 pick.
It's crazy. We were talking about everybody thought Chet was going number 1 or Jabari, and then Paulo had people scratching their heads. But what we've seen from him from the past month, he's a real one.
And as much as I love Chet, I'm never going to be that fan that goes back on what I said, bro. And I said draft day that Paulo is going to be the best player in the class. You guys heard it on the stream. You heard it, Trev.
Mm-hmm.
And look it, man. Dort I don't miss. I've never missed. Name one bad.
Give me Paulo over Chet.
Name one bad take.
I'm gonna have to go back, but I could get a list.
I need a list next week.
Bad. I'm gonna write that down. List next week of bad takes.
And I'll stand by all of them. Fuck it.
All right. Are you just talking about podcast takes? No Twitter trolls?
You could put a Twitter troll in there, but if it's a troll, I'm gonna tell you it was a troll.
All right, bet. I'll make a mainly podcast. I'm gonna go back and listen to it.
Okay, y'all heard it. Yeah. So if Trevor doesn't do it, then Trevor didn't do his job.
Mm-hmm. I do my job. I'm gonna do my job. And then in a few weeks, we're gonna have our way too early awards predictions. So we'll see who we take Rookie of the Year in a few weeks. But no teasers. But that's a good episode to look out for. And lastly, when we're talking about the Pro-Am, what I sent you that seriously made me laugh. It really made me laugh was Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Obi Toppin. That's 3 players. Like we saw DeJounte, Trey, and John Collins go out there, dominate, just like mess around, just throwing reverse lobs off the glass like it was crazy. Dribble between people's legs. 3 NBA players on the team. The Knicks guys lost by 13, and they looked horrible. Like, did you watch any clips from that game?
No, but I heard it was bad. What were the names again? It was Randall Brunson, and who was the third guy?
Obi Toppin.
Listen.
That's a Pro-Am player, honestly. Just run the floor, catch lobs, and dunk, like get rebounds. That's all you got to do.
But you know why they didn't win? Because they didn't have the face of New York, RJ Barrett, on their team.
Nah, RJ's too good. RJ would have won that game.
He would have. It's simple. I mean, I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, the Knicks did what they wanted to do this offseason. Who cares if they overpaid? Like, bro, you cannot beat people that work in construction. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And I don't know if you saw the clip, but it was 95-90, couple minutes left. Julius Randle's got the ball on sort of a fast break. It's like a 2-on-2 break or whatever. Most of the defense, most of his teammates are behind him. This man stops and pulls up a deep wing 3, flanks it, and gets booed by kids. Bro, Julius, don't do it again. Don't try to redeem yourself. Just go to the gym, go get shots up, and just October 18th, NBA tip-off. Just be ready. Be ready.
That's so funny that this man went, like, when you go to the Pro-Am and you're like, oh, I'm going to watch Julius Randle today. I bet that, like, Julius Randle is probably gassed to know that, like, people are going to come there and watch him, and you're an NBA player getting booed in a Pro-Am game. Come on, man. Maybe he saw Trae Young somewhere, and it might have shook him a little bit.
Maybe. Imagine Trae pulled up to a freaking run in New York. A Pro-Am, get shot. He would get shot.
I feel like New York actually likes Trae Young.
They do. They love to hate him. Yeah.
I think it'd be love.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see Trae Young doing this, and then everyone like cheering.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. We got the guest on standby.
Yeah, I'm up in it right now. Make sure.
You want to do 2K ratings with him?
Oh, let's do 2K ratings, then I'll bring him in.
Okay, bet 2K ratings. We'll fly through these. Let's start off. We got 3 shooters. We got Seth Curry, 2K rating.
Seth Curry.
We got a guest on standby. 82. That's crazy.
Fuck. I keep forgetting the. Okay, go. First one's always bad. My first one's always bad. All right.
Tyler Hero.
Hero.
82.
83.
Clay.
80.
Crazy. Mikhail.
82.
82 for a superstar? Come on, man.
Yes.
Mikhail and Curry being the same rating is kind of wild. Ayton?
DeAndre Ayton. 85.
I like that one. Jay Crowder?
Why?
Because I wanted to do Suns Big 3, but I've done all the other Suns players. So
78? 78?
Good answer. All right. These are where we get interesting. We got Draymond Green.
81.
You're crazy.
Why?
Draymond under Seth Curry?
You said it's rapid. I got to do it fast. I'm just first number that comes into my mind. I'm spitting.
DeJounte.
87.
That's the same overall as Anthony Edwards.
Okay. One of them was an all-star. DeJounte was an all-star.
What about Dame?
Olive? I want to give him an 89. Give him a 90.
Damian Lillard, 90 overall. All right. Yeah. We're done.
You're done.
You're done. Bring in the guests.
All right, and now joining us for our feature segment, we're going to go into next year's All-NBA First Team, our predictions for him. We got Mark Puleo joining us. Mark, it's good to have you on. Why don't you tell the listeners a little about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, guys, for having me on. I work for The Athletic. I'm a staff editor of their news and live team, and so big hoops fan. I'm glad you guys picked that topic. Big fan of NBA Twitter and narratives, and so my teams are all narrative driven. I don't know if I have great reasoning to back any of these up, but I'm ready to fight, and thanks for having me on.
All right, let's do it. Do you got a favorite team? You got a team you root for, or are you kind of just a fan of the sport?
I'm a Boston boy, and so I know that's going to rub everyone the wrong way. I'm ready to throw a fist over that, but it was a good season. I did not expect the Celtics to even get past the Nets, and so everything of that whole playoff run was gravy. And so, hey, I'll take my beating. That was Golden State got him. That was hard.
Podcast people, before you say anything, this is our second Celtics fan we've ever had on the podcast.
Oh boy.
We do not
second and last. I'm just
we do not endorse Celtics Nation. We got the best Celtics fans in the world, man. Only Merely Hoop Celtics fans, Celtics supporters can get on the pod.
I don't have one Celtic on my team, so you're good.
Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let's well, first of all, I have an honorable mention. A guy I wanted to throw on my list that's kind of sneaky. I think I could see him getting second or third team. That's Anthony Davis this year. Or I know you're gonna hate that, but
I'm not mad at it.
No,
I mean, listen. Last year, in fantasy basketball, I took Anthony Davis with the #1 pick in the whole league,
and you lost.
And I lost because I thought Anthony Davis was gonna hoop. I'm not gonna do it again this year, but glad you're doing it, bro. Dig your own way.
Yeah. I think we're due for a healthy season. You know, see what he can do. But let's go with our guards first. Dor, who you got at your first guard?
I think you know who I got at my first guard, man. I got the reigning NBA champion of the world, Finals MVP. Give me Steph Curry as my starting point guard for my All-NBA first team, man. I feel like there's not a lot of argument, debate I got to do here. He should be a unanimous pick across the board. I mean, I know we do got a Boston fan here, so I'd get it if not. But I mean, hey, Steph Curry is my point guard.
What was he second team this past year? I think Luka and Book were first team.
Yeah, he was second. Steph was second.
Yeah, okay. Personally, I don't have him on my list, but Mark, who is your first guard? Who you got?
Yeah, I don't got Steph either. I think I got a bunch of honorable mentions for guard. That I think guard's the toughest position.
Right.
I think Luka feels like the closest thing to a lock. I've got Luka fatigue myself, and so I'd love for him to be left off. But yeah, I'll get into my other couple of options. But Luka feels like the closest thing to a lock, especially after reaching the second round of the playoffs. If Christian Wood makes a difference and they actually get some more wins this year, I think he's got the narrative. I think the media loves him too much to. If he does the same thing that he's done the last couple of years, I don't think they can leave him off the first team. And so I'm going to start with Luka.
Okay, that's fair. And like you said, you got Luka fatigue, so you would love to keep him off. I don't. So I got Luka on my list. He's my first guard. I think he encompasses, he is offense. I think he's the most complete offensive player in the league. Like you said, closest thing to a lock. I got him first. Second, I got Jokic. Third, I got Braun. But I'm not a huge stats guy, but I mean, we could seriously see him like pushing for a triple-double season like we saw with Russ. And like you said, if Christian Wood makes any of a difference, you know, that could be another 5-seed team again, a top 5 seed in the West, which is impressive on its own. He's a major threat at all 3 levels, and I think he's going to improve his defense a little bit this year. And if we see a healthy season, this is a top 5 MVP candidate, and he's definitely a first-team candidate. So Luka was my first spot. That was very easy for me to pencil him in there. Dort, who's your next guard?
I might be blanking here. I might have had a brain fart, but I don't know who you guys' other guard is because I got Luka myself as my second guard. I mean, I hope it's not.
Dort, you know who mine is. You know who my other guard is.
I might be blanking, man, but yeah, like you guys said, man, I think the Mavericks could finish as the best team in the West this year. I mean, you give Luka an actual lob threat, and it's not Dwight Powell and like Maxi Kleber. It's gonna be interesting this year for sure with Luka and Christian Wood. Really wanted them to make a push at Kyrie as well. That's not looking like it's gonna happen, but definitely Luka is my number 2.
I heard kind of flying under the radar that's like it's not a top tier team for a KD destination, but it's out there. It's a sleeper team for KD.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, Mark, who's it? So yeah, you have no idea who mine and Mark's. If it's the same, that's gonna be great. We're gonna have to have you back on.
I don't think it's Harden.
No,
I mean, I don't think it's but let me see.
No, I'm no Harden guy. I got some slashes. I have Ja/Trey, and both of those are big narratives for me. I'm gonna go with Ja. I see a D Rose season. I think Memphis gets a top 3 seed. It's the same exact situation as like 2011 Chicago, where the whole media is behind a Ja MVP season, whether he deserves it or not. I just think I think Memphis is making some good moves. If Triple J comes back healthy after that foot injury, I see them running back a lot of the success they had last year. And but yeah, I think you could say the same thing for Trae Young. I think if the Murray trade works out really well and that's a top 3 seed, you could do the exact same argument for the East. But I feel more confident on Ja, and he has all the momentum from last year. I don't love either of those. Steph was another honorable mention I had, but I'm getting some coast the regular season vibes from Steph. And so if that's the case, I just see the young guys, Ja and Trae, pushing way too hard in the regular season. And for that, yeah, we'll lock in Morant.
That first Grizzlies Warriors game is going to be a must watch. I mean, yeah, I'm sure all 3 of us are going to be tuned into that.
Mark, I mean, because you brought it up, right? I mean, I didn't bring it up. Trev didn't bring it up. So you're saying Ja Morant's better than Trae Young? Just putting it out there.
I don't know if I can say that entirely. I think the Grizzlies are better than the Hawks.
Yep, you tried, Dory. You tried. You tried. Yep.
No, I think it's close. I think it's closer than some people want to say. But I think if I had to start a team afresh tomorrow, yeah, I'd want Trae setting the table.
Man, that's my next guard. That's my second guard. He's coming off his best year, Trae Young. They brought in an all-star. They brought him some help. John Collins and Clint Capella is not the help that this guy needs. This is going to allow DeAndre Hunter to take another step. His field, I'm not a huge stats guy, but a field goal percentage is a good effectiveness stat, and that's went up every year since he's been in the NBA. And that backcourt, those are two villains. You know, everybody's starting to hate DeJounte Murray. Trey is his own villain in New York. And Trey's the top 3 playmaker in the league for me. So my 2 guards, Trey and Luka, the guys who got traded on draft night, 2 of my favorite players to watch in the league. And Dort, it's a bad year to be a Trey Young hater. It really is.
It isn't.
And I hate it had to be you.
It isn't. It's a great year to be a Trey Young hater because they're going to disappoint. And Trey Young's going to disappoint, man. With DeJounte there, he's losing his touches, man. It's not going to be Trey Young, only one who could dribble the ball on the team anymore. You know? So, I mean, we'll see. Kevin Huerter's not
ball dominant. DeJounte can slash. DeJounte can even make plays for Trey, too. It's going to be scary. It's going to be dominant.
If Trey can move without the ball, then
he
maybe.
Can.
Where?
We'll see. You'll see. That's all I'm gonna say. Who's your first forward?
Okay, man. My forwards. I feel like forwards get interesting. All right. I might get a lot of backlash. So I'm gonna start off with the one I know I'm gonna get love from one of you guys. I got Tatum. Making the All NBA first team. Trevor's been saying it every week that he could have an MVP season next year. And I still think it could happen, man. I mean, Tatum's a certified baller. We all know that. Be ready for a 26-point season where it's just super efficient and a top 20 defender in the league.
26, that's it?
Yeah, you're not averaging no 30.
I could see him getting like 27 and a half, 28. Maybe 29, as long as they don't bring in KD. But
he's not Shea.
What? You don't mean that. You don't mean that.
That's my first forward off the board. Jason Tatum.
Okay, Mark, I know you got Tatum too.
I don't. I appreciate Jason Tatum way more than if we did this pod a year ago, you would have heard some Tatum slander. I appreciate everything that he's brought. He won me over in the playoff run. There's a consistency issue that is a little coin flippy with Jason Tatum, and I think what he tapped into in the second and third rounds of the playoffs is consistent. I think he can do that on an almost nightly basis next year, especially if Jaylen Brown doesn't go anywhere. That duo needs to stay together. But I think Tatum's going to give you every single year like a random 6-week stretch where he just sucks, and that is okay. I think he's learning how to coast healthily, and so I just don't know about regular season kind of praise for him. I know he was first team last year. But I had him and my other honorable mention that I didn't mention from the guards. I think Tatum and Booker are going to coast some regular seasons this year after smelling some playoff success. I think both of them might be resting some games. My first forward lock, I think, has to be Giannis. Giannis was the number one lock for me overall for everything. I think he's got another MVP season coming up. I think the Bucks are my title favorite, and yeah, if Middleton's healthy all year, that's a 65 win team maybe, and he's got plenty of love after the last couple of years.
Did you say you have a Celtic on your list?
No, I don't. No Celtic.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you had one on your list and it wasn't Jason Tatum.
No,
I was like, what are we about to do here?
You guys ready for Time Lord?
Yeah, Time Lord is your All NBA center.
Yeah, you wait.
I'm gonna agree with you on the forward spot. Don't overthink it. Put Giannis right back up there. Like you said, he's got his Robin back. Chris Middleton coming back, hopefully staying healthy. He seems to improve every year, mentally, physically, scoring, defensively. He's gonna be a top 5 in MVP. He's gonna be top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year. He's just like Luka. He's one of the easiest guys to put on All NBA first team year after year. So that's my first forward. Dort, you got a fun one for your second one?
Bro, I can't believe I forgot Giannis.
What? Whoa.
Cut Tatum. Giannis is my first forward. Giannis is my second forward because my first forward is gonna be the 1 seed in the West, gonna return, gonna win the championship, gonna
Kawhi.
break the Clippers first. Clippers curse is Kawhi, man. Kawhi and Giannis are my forwards. Or I'll throw in Tatum to get some more hate on Twitter. More hate than I'm getting right now. So I mean, Kawhi and Tatum are my forwards, man. We're riding with it. Kawhi Leonard, man, I can't wait to watch him play basketball again. Maybe that's what it is, the Kawhi hype. But I mean, I think a lot of my players, I've kind of realized that it's going to be based off like how many wins their team gets. And I think Curry's going to be a top seed in the West. Luka's going to be a top seed in the West. Kawhi's going to be a top seed in the West. And even Tatum, I think they'll be the top seed in the East.
Mark, do you think we talked about this either last week or 2 weeks ago? Do you think Kawhi is still a top 7 player in the league?
He's my other forward myself, actually. I
Okay.
I thought I was going to be alone in that. I didn't feel wonderful about it. I think that's a little coin flippy. If he plays, I think he's got to, in my mind, for Kawhi to reach an All-NBA first team, he's got to hit 60 games. I think like the general idea is a 55 game for most guys, but I feel like Kawhi's got to hit 60 to prove himself, and that's
we haven't seen that since 2018, I think.
Yeah, and that's the real if there.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is definitely talent-wise and a playoff run-wise. If I'm building my dream playoff team, like he's a top 5 forward for that team for sure. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to some regular season wins, and if he and George are healthy all year, I think that moves some needles. But yeah, who knows? I had him as my second forward just because I think people forgot how good he is, and I think there's going to be a really sweet period in October, November, and December. That's really like the season of the year where all the narratives are built that last the entire second half of the year is just what happens in the first 35 games. And I think there's just going to be a couple months of people being like, oh, we forgot how good Kawhi was, and look how killer the Clippers really are. Whether or not that holds true for the playoff run, time will tell. But I think for at least the regular season, a good comeback player of the year kind of narrative is going to get Kawhi some votes.
Okay, that's interesting. Let me ask you what you said, something about Jason Tatum, about how you thought he just kind of snuck into the first team. Do you think he kind of snuck in there last minute because Embiid and Jokic were taking votes away from each other?
I don't think so. I know that's been plenty of argument, and I don't know when we're going to the positionless teams. I don't think it was that big of a thing in terms of vote stealing. I'm looking at the second team forwards from last year. I think KD missing some games is probably the big hinge there. I don't think DeMar was going to get the first team love.
Yeah,
and
he
really
fizzled out.
Yeah, it's kind of just a weak forward class with Kawhi out all year.
Yeah, it's Siakam, third team, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So things like that. I don't think the Jokic and Embiid thing had too much of a swing on that, but if it was a positionless team like we're going towards the next couple of years, I don't think Tatum makes it like he did last year.
Right.
Mark, if you could, would you trade Tatum for Kawhi straight up on your team right now?
I don't think so. I think Tatum's got a lot of room to grow. I think you'd be selling. I mean, it's hard to say selling low on a guy that just carried a team to the finals, but I think Tatum's got another in his career. I don't know about this coming year, but in his career, he's got another couple first team All NBAs. I could see an MVP campaign. I could see the Celtics winning a title with him. But in terms of if you're asking me like 15 years from now, compare career to career, I don't see Tatum having the same career that Kawhi has. But I don't trust Kawhi's knees.
Okay, well, my last forward, a guy that we've been like shitting on for the past 5 minutes, the revenge tour, Jason Tatum, unless they get KD. If KD goes there, never mind. But just what I've seen from him, like, another guy who seems to improve every time we look at him, every year. We saw improved playmaking from the playoffs. He's very mature offensively. The shots weren't falling in that finals game. He had 11 assists in the second half. That was very mature to me. He's almost a major threat at 3 levels. I think he can work on his inside game a little bit. So I'll say 2.5 level threat. He's a very good defender. He's a guy that wants to win. And I think he works very hard in the offseason. And, a lot of people seem to forget because of those bad games in the finals where he was ineffective, just missing shots. Brooklyn, he had 39, 31, 29. Milwaukee had 46, 34, a couple more 30s. And then the Miami series, he had 4 games over 27 points. A very underrated playoff run that kind of got swept under the rug because of just how good defensively the Warriors were all throughout the playoffs and especially the NBA Finals. But that's my revenge tour. That's a guy that, I could see him second team. I could see him falling out. But, Jason Tatum he's going to have to show me that he's going to take himself off the first team. So Tatum and Giannis are my forwards. What's up?
Doubting the Celtics has gotten me real far. I mean, I had them losing every round of the playoffs last year, and here we are talking about a finals run. And so, yeah, let me tell you, Jason Tatum's not going to even make the third team. That means he's going to win MVP, and Celtics aren't going to make the playoffs, and we'll be drinking champagne in May. So, yeah.
The markers.
Yeah, you're just the jinx on your own team.
Let's do it.
So we're down to one. Dort, I know who you're going to say. You're going to say Jokic, but tell us why.
No, listen. I don't think I'm relying on you, Mark. Here, let me tell you why. Luka's been our only unanimous player. I'm hoping Embiid is not our other only unanimous player because I got Embiid at the 5, man. I think it's Embiid's year to win MVP. I think it's due for it. Like Trevor, you said earlier on the podcast, a lot of people are sick of the Jokic stuff, man. It's just the narrative, whatever. Embiid and Harden is going to be a scary team. And it's Embiid's year to win it. I got him MVP. That's my MVP pick. I know we got the award prediction episode coming, but that's my pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna blur that out when I edit the podcast. Okay, I like that, Mark. Embiid love? Do we got it? Rudy Gobert?
Now I got some Embiid love. I don't know about the MVP campaign, but I think Harden is going in the wrong direction, and I think he just becomes this beautiful facilitator. I think that feeds Embiid maybe a 29, 30-point season. There's going to be a lot of Shaq comparisons, and people are going to love that narrative of like most dominant big man in 20 years kind of thing. I think the Sixers could be a 60-win team. And yeah, for me though, the biggest thing with the Jokic game is just voter fatigue. I think Porter and Murray are going to come back, and they aren't going to be as lethal as people think that they are. And I think if the Nuggets win anything less than like 53 games, then people are going to be disappointed, and that's going to cost him some votes. And so something about winning 2 MVPs in a row just kind of ruins a guy's like reputation. Like that he's done. For some reason, the NBA just decides that we can't give him any more love, and I think it's going to cost him a first-team selection this year.
Okay. Well, we went 3 for 3 on Luka. We're going 3 for 3 on Embiid. Just like Dort said, I think it's finally his year where he kind of oversteps Jokic, whether that's because of he wins the MVP or whether it's because of voter fatigue, whatever. It's my favorite player in the league, so I'm not mad. He's getting 30 again. I like what you said, the Shaq comparisons, the dominant, and a whole offseason with Harden. Whether Harden, we see him come back and scored mid-20s per game, or whether he's just like a beautiful facilitator, like you said. I mean, I watched every Sixers game last year, and even when Harden was shooting the ball bad, he was still a great passer, a great playmaker. You could rely on Maxey. There was points you could really rely on Tobias Harris. And Embiid is Embiid. If he gets the ball with his back to the basket, he's going to draw a double team. He's a good enough passer. I'm not going to say he's a great passer, but he's a good enough passer. And there's good 3-point shooting on that team. And if he's rolling, if Harden's ball dominant, Embiid's going to be dominant down low. So a really good year to beat Joel Embiid. Just beat out Rudy Gobert for my first team. I'm just playing. But yeah. So my first team is going to be Trey and Luka, my guard spots. I got Tatum and Giannis, my forwards, and Embiid as my center. Who do y'all got? Your full team. Read it out.
Mark, you can go, man. We'll let the guests go.
I'm going to go, Luka and Ja, Kawhi, Giannis, and Embiid.
I can't believe I forgot Giannis, man.
That's like, it's the NBA, dog.
Yeah, it's like the face of basketball right now. I'm surprised no LeBron snuck on any of the lists. But that's how I know we all know basketball.
I wanted to, just to piss you
off. Curry and Luka are my guards. Kawhi and Tatum are my forwards. And then Embiid's giving my center, man. I cannot wait to watch Tobias Harris play small forward this year. It's gonna be a great season of basketball.
Have you guys seen the stuff going around of Giannis shooting the threes and how he's been doing with the Greek team?
I've not.
He's just been knocking down threes. His shot looks more fluid every year. Yeah. There was a video maybe 1 or 2 days ago or just making like 4 or 5 threes in a row, and it looks a lot more fluid. But nobody's guarding him. You know, he's just shooting in their gym. So we'll have to see for ourselves. But
I love it. I got a couple honorable mentions that we didn't throw on there. One of them, we talked about LeBron. I think if the Lakers win less than 50 games again or less than 45, I think LeBron goes for 35 points a game. That's going to be fun.
He's getting the all-time. He's getting number one this year. The scoring.
Yeah, I think he's getting desperate. I think he sees father time and he's ready to put in some buckets. But no one mentioned Cat, and we talked about Gobert. There's a fun wrinkle. If Gobert's playing the center, and then you get Karl Anthony Towns at a forward spot, I don't think he's actually going to challenge for first team or anything, but he could screw up the second and third team forward spots, because I think that Gobert trade is going to be a disaster in 7 years from now. But I think for the next couple of years, you get a Minnesota team that could win 55 games. And if that turns into an interesting narrative, and I think Edwards is going to take some really big jumps. Edwards is another honorable mention that I had that is a year away from a first team, but I think he's got to get some more attention this year. But all that to say, I think Cat is gonna throw some wrinkles in these votes, because he's getting some forward love now.
What is the furthest you could see them going in the playoffs this year?
Winning a round would be, yeah. I don't see them winning more than one round, but I could see them taking a first round series in 5 or 6 games though, and having a lot of momentum. But yeah, I just don't know if the double big man lineups can hold off in a second, third round.
Yeah, that's going to be another fun team. You know, I didn't watch a lot of Timberwolves games last year, but I'm going to have to tune in this year. Yeah, I'm excited for this NBA season. Very excited. Very excited for all the narratives like you were talking about. Seeing guys coasting, seeing guys come back like Kawhi.
Mm-hmm.
You think we see a KD trade?
I had some KD notes for some honorable mention. I think he's starting slow no matter what. I think if he doesn't get traded, he's going to hold out for at least a couple months before getting some trade deadline value. And if he does get traded, he's going to get a slow acclimation. I think he doesn't get traded, and it's going to be really weird. I think Ben Simmons is suddenly going to have a teammate that's refusing to play with him, and we're all going to laugh at that. And I think KD's contract is just such a hurdle that he doesn't have any of the leverage, and Sean Marks is too good of a reputation that they're not going to fire him, and it's going to be weird.
I don't think KD holds out. I think KD, no matter what, is just going to go out there and hoop, and he's going to want his trade value to go up, and he's just going to average like 40.
No.
I mean,
I'd love to see it. I want to see it.
Just KD unstoppable, like not passing the ball, just nothing, just chucking. And I mean, I can't see him holding out just because KD seems like a straight hooper. Like Ben Simmons, would hold out.
I think he wants to be in Miami. I think that could be like his team, and I think it's a great supporting cast. Probably one of the best he's ever had. Minus the Golden State teams. But
yeah, we'll see.
Let me give a couple honorable mentions too, really quick, man. Honorable mention to Damian Lillard. He comes back this year. I feel like he's going really under the radar. If they could somehow sneak, like, not play in playoffs, but like as a 6 seed, a 5 seed, then I don't see a world where Dame's not all NBA first team. Definitely in there. And then
instead of who? Steph?
Instead of Steph, for sure.
All right, I just wanted you to say it. I just want to hear you say it.
I said it. Damian Lillard is the king of the regular season, and then another honorable mention to a superstar, Mikal Bridges.
Oh, boy.
Shut up, dude.
Get that in there for the Twitter audience.
Facts. Well, Mark, all we're doing for the rest of this episode, we're going to talk about Twitter for a little bit, 5-10 minutes. You're welcome to stay, but that's all we have for our All NBA first team. So, you want to stay with us for that, or?
I got to run to a meeting that started a few minutes ago with The Athletic, and so my B on that. But thank you all for having me on. I appreciate it.
Sounds
you. Good. It was fun, yeah.
Absolutely. Send me a link when this goes live.
I will. Sure.
Thanks, guys.
Peace, man.
So a big shout out to Mark Puleo for joining us on our feature segment. Definitely go follow him on Twitter. I meant to get him to plug it before he got out of here, but it's by Mark Puleo, and it's MarkPuleo. Puleo, I think. Just search up his name until you see the verified blue Twitter check marks. That's him. But yeah, we're gonna move on to Twitter right now. Some of these tweets from the past week, some of these fun little replies. Dort, I want to know your replies to these tweets before I talk about the people. Can you describe Ben Simmons in 3 words or less?
Did you see my response?
Yeah, and there, yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Yeah,
I had to do it. Ben Simmons in 3 words. I don't want to say no jumper. I'm gonna say flying under radar.
okay, that's interesting. I like that. The Undort Taker on Twitter said elite point forward and in parentheses in OKC soon. How do you feel about that?
Love it.
Love it.
Okay. I'll trade Giddy for Ben.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah. Victory Obi said not that guy, so he's not that guy, pal. So hate. Kyrie is saying he will win MIP. That might be a little bias there, a little Brooklyn bias, but we'll see. And then my favorite response again: describe Ben Simmons in 3 words or less. New wave era. Stupid. Yes, both on and off the court. On the court, he makes bad reads, never wants to work hard, and has a lack of drive. Off the court, he'd rather play Warzone than play basketball.
Damn.
These motherfuckers say 3 words and to say 3 paragraphs or less.
Can we get a word
new
count?
wave? Huh?
Can we get a word count? You should.
Let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 34 words.
That's a travel, bro.
And 4, 5, 6 punctuation. I said 3 words and you gave me 6 punctuation, bro.
That's crazy.
Shout out to New Wave Era. Looks like he's a Dolphins fan. Check out Beerly Football. Psych. All right, rank these players 1 to 4. Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Simons, Jalen Green.
I like this tweet, did a lot.
It didn't get as much love, but yeah, it was a good one. It was a fun one.
I think I'm going with Jalen, Simons, Maxey, Hallie.
Interesting. I'm going Maxey, Jalen Green, Hallie, Simons. Simons has a nice fade though, almost as nice as mine.
Hey, just for next time, like you just read the questions, bro.
Facts, you're right. Nobody cares. Will Clapp said if the 2 Tyreses aren't in your top 2, then you're just wrong. Cade World, Pistons fan, said currently it's Maxey, Hallie, Green, and Simons, but potential-wise, Green has the highest potential, Hallie has the second highest potential, Maxey, and then Simons. So a lot of Simons hate there. Let me ask you this: which point guard would you rather start? Chino Hills, Lonzo Ball, University of Kentucky, De'Aaron Fox.
You know I gotta go De'Aaron, man. I've been riding for De'Aaron lately.
Facts. Chino Hills slander?
Chino Hills slander. Zoe's a better fit on most teams, but De'Aaron's a better basketball player. What about you?
A lot of people said, yeah. The at front office, depending on what the team needs. Fox if I need scoring, Lonzo if I need a role player on a good team. It's a good point. Steelers and Warriors for life. That sucks. I hate both of those teams. But he said Zoe if healthy. Our boy Theo Long, we've read his tweets a few times. Fox is a better player, but he'd rather have Zoe on his team. Much better defender, better 3-point shooter, pushes the tempo, plus fast break points. That's kind of De'Aaron Fox's thing, but it's also Lonzo's thing. So, I mean, I would say Fox does it a little better. We had Teddy say Jamal Murray.
What about on your Magic? Who would you rather have?
My Magic. Cole Anthony.
Markel's starting there, buddy.
So it's cool. Jalen Suggs is not.
What's the Magic starting lineup looking like this year?
Cole Anthony, Markel Fultz, T. Ross probably could come off the bench. He's almost 40. Franz Wagner, maybe. Paolo and Wendell.
I got Markel, Gary Harris, Franz.
Is Gary Harris still there?
Yeah, he resigned. Everyone was like he's going to a contender, and he resigned.
Yeah,
that's a squad.
That is a squad, low-key.
That's a 65-win team.
That's gonna be a really fun 23 wins this year. They're gonna snap 23 times this year.
They have 2 number 1 picks on the same team.
Paolo and Kel, yeah, bro. Kel, I love Kel, and I love Cole Anthony. Kel was he used to be one of my favorite players. Aaron Krim said neither. But if you had to pick, you would pick Zoe. Fox isn't good enough to lead a team, and he doesn't have enough skills to be an off-ball player. Zoe is a good defender and a good three-point shooter. Fox is probably better individually, but Zoe is a better role player. It's crazy. I'm just asking, like, who would you rather start?
And then you say neither, but then you give an answer and explain your answer. It's like, the fuck?
This is why, like, everybody pretty much. I mean, this Bulls fan said Fox is a better individual player. Bulls pain. But Lonzo is a better team player. So depends on stars. That's pretty much what everybody said. Here's what I wanted to talk about earlier when we were talking about BI. Who is currently better right now? Not last year, not playoffs, nothing. Just right now, who is better? DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Ingram.
BI.
Really?
Yeah, I got to do it. I think we might have talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I said DeRozan.
I think it's sneaky BI. I think people don't know that it's BI yet, but I think it's BI.
Really? I feel like people are just going to think BI because of his playoff run. But I think just in general, BI. I mean, like,
it was mostly DeMar. Like this Kwame Brown guy said, probably the one that was in the MVP race for most of last season, which was I liked what You Can't Guard Me one said. DeMar right now, but I expect BI to pass him soon. Same. The playmaking we saw from BI, yeah. I mean, DeMar is still that guy. All NBA second team. Like, we can't just sweep the rug. But
what does DeMar do better than BI? What? I would say passing a little bit.
Yeah, he's a better passer. He's definitely a better defender, not by a lot. I'll say he's a better scorer right now.
I don't know, bro. BI averaged 27 against like the number one defense in the league.
Yeah, but just the whole season, like what we saw from DeMar, like he just like took over that team and like he fizzled out last 15, 20 games and like fizzled out in the playoffs. But I mean, we'll have to see. It's a long season, but BI could be better than him right now. I don't hate that.
My thing is DeMar fizzled out. BI came up because even like excusing the playoff run, BI dragged that team to the play-in before McCollum got there. Like there was no reason they should have been.
What about with the return of Zion? Think that'll just help him?
I think that's gonna hurt him in the idea that like people will think DeRozan's better because Zion is the best player on that team. But like it's gonna be that thing where if like you flip their roles, BI would do better in Chicago than DeRozan.
Bro, I really like that team, that Pelicans team with BI and Zion.
I really like it too, but I'm kind of scared because I feel like everyone really likes it. And I feel like when that happens, they usually like disappoint.
Mm-hmm. Even a Bulls fan, AJ, said DeMar at this very second, but he wouldn't be surprised if BI was during this season or after this season. You know, I had to bring this question up. Who is the best role player in the NBA? Yo, Bridges.
It's got to be Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
He is so bad, bro. One of the worst players in the league.
Well,
my boy Run said Bobby Portis was turning into Stephen Curry, and he was right. President Bobby. The best player here, talent-wise, is Jordan Clarkson, and he's great. But the guy who genuinely embraces the term role player simply plays his role every night, Bobby Portis, Arena 6. I like that. Bobby Portis is an underrated role player, in my opinion. You don't really see it until the playoffs when everybody's watching. But
my real best role player is Kuzma a role player?
Not in Washington.
So what is he in Washington then? Because I'll tell you, he's not a star.
He's their star without Beal.
You got to tweet Kuzma or Mikhail. Have you tweeted that before?
No, I tweeted Kuzma or Gary Trent.
Do Kuzma or Mikhail. I think people would get mad about that. And I think that'd be one of those tweets that's like, people are mad that they're like, oh, really? You're comparing Mikhail to Kuzma? And then people are going to be like, Kuzma clears by far, not close.
Every tweet I do, who's better? Jalen, and it's not close. Cole, and it's not close. SGA, and it's not close. Garland, and it's not close. And it's always 50-50.
So that's what that would be a fire tweet.
My man Mason, I said, who's the best role player in the NBA? He said, I might be a little biased, but I'm going to say, and nothing is going to prepare you for what I'm about to say. Kenrich Williams. Bro goes out there almost every single night and does exactly what he's supposed to. Definitely made a huge impact on the Thunder last year.
I hate it. That's what I was saying. The Kenrich Williams, Mike Muscala stuff. Like, those are the two Thunder role players that I just can't get behind. Like, people ride them for no reason. They're good.
Mm-hmm.
Best role player good? Better than Miles Turner? Come on.
How about Cavs News? If Mikal Bridges is a role player, then Draymond Green is a role player. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it. Don't like it at all. What about, like, when you look at the Timberwolves right now, right?
Right.
Would D'Angelo be a role player? Or do they have 4 stars on their team?
Say he's a role player. I would say he's a starting point guard. I don't know if a starting point guard is a role player, though. He's not a star.
What's a role player? Like, what would you define a role player?
I would say somebody less than a star, and you can point out their specific roles.
I agree. And I
like, you can't point out D'Angelo Russell's, like, role. Like, he's out there, like, to play point guard.
I agree. I feel like people got that wrong. I feel like people think a role player is just anyone that's not a star.
Yeah.
Like, I think
like,
one-dimensional or, like, 3-and-D, then you're a role player. But if you're, like
PJ Tucker, he's going to go out there and shoot corner threes. He's going to play defense, and he's going to bring toughness. That's role, and he's not a star.
Definition of a role player. Drummond, just go out there and rebound.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do. But, like, there's, like, weird, like, exceptions, I feel like. Like, Mobley just goes out there mainly for defense. But I wouldn't say Mobley's a role player.
Evan Mobley?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a role player. He's a starter.
Someone actually on Twitter got mad at me a couple days ago for saying Evan Mobley's a center.
So that's not a horrible. I mean, he can play center.
I feel like it's not a take. I feel like Evan Mobley's played center his whole life, but he's playing with Jared Allen.
Yeah. And he also needs to get he's like Tim Duncan being a center. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can play 5, but, like, 4 is, like, probably where he'll settle in.
This podcast is my therapy. I've been dragged all week. I got dragged.
I can tell the way you're sitting. You're just, like, sitting like you're in therapy.
I mean, someone yesterday tweeted about Westbrook, and they're like, Westbrook shot 56% on bank shots. And it was, like, a stat from, like, 1 month into the season. And I was like, nah, using stats for 1 month into the season is crazy. And this dude just popped off on me. You don't know what you're talking about. I watched every Laker game this year. I didn't say nothing about Westbrook. All I said was using a stat like that is crazy. The Mikal thing, obviously, like, no context NBA, just bullying me. Just a crazy world, man.
It is.
Crazy world.
Last question I got for Twitter, rapid fire. Yeah, I don't get them. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's really crazy. Last question I got for our Twitter seggy. Did you see the Shaq video I posted? You know, backing the man down, dunking on him. Mm-hmm. Do you think that is the most disrespectful play in NBA history? We got some options. Ted NBA has the Pippen dunk over Ewing, which was nasty. We got Kevin McHale clotheslining Kurt Rambis, sent in by Michael Lambright. We got Sean Kemp dunking on him, giving him the finger guns. James Campbell. We got Harden's crossover on Sindarius Thornwell, Smitty season. And we got MJ with his eyes closed, Michael Williams too. And shout out to my dog, Musa. Has AI stepping over Ty Lue. We also got Michael Jordan dunking on Mutombo, giving him the finger. Bodie Sock. That's all we got. What's most disrespectful out of all those?
Out of all those, I would say the Kemp thing, bro. Dunking on someone and pointing at them is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Especially like in a crowd, a stadium full of people watching, and you dunk on someone, and you're like, look at him. But that's a lot of overhead response. Is the Sindarius Thornwell crossover when Harden stared at him? That was Wesley Johnson.
He just snatched back and then just like stood there.
I think that was Wesley Johnson.
Oh, it might have been. That was bad against it. Yeah.
That was crazy. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head.
Like from recently?
Yeah.
Oh, how about LeBron's doing it like a free throw in Toronto? His corner three, where he spun the ball on his fingers and then just.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
That was rude. That was rude.
Is there any disrespectful game winners? That's what I'm trying to think about.
Dame.
Yeah, the wave off. You're right. Didn't have to bring that up though. You could have just ignored that.
Oh, I forgot that was OKC. My bad. That sucks.
Wow. You know what a disrespectful one?
No, it wasn't disrespectful. He just made a shot. You're talking about Kawhi.
I know when he baked it, and it was like bounce, 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 and then he was like watching it because when he was watching,
Not disrespectful. He was just watching his shot.
The watch was disrespectful, and then it's like, oh, you know.
Celebrated for like half a second. He was like, "Yeah, all right." 2 seconds. That's all I got. That's all I got for Twitter.
Hey.
Get out of here, man. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Beerly Hoops, at Beerly Sports. Got all the other sports up there. Instagram, Beerly Sports. TikTok, Beerly Sports. Dort, talk to us nice about the website. Talk to us nice about our Discord community. Shout out to Musa. Shout out to everybody in the Discord community.
Listen, man, I've been plugging BeerlySports.com, and I wasn't even the one to post the article. Shout out Trev Scott in the building for posting an article written
It's not
by
faded.
Alec. Stop with the fade, bro. Stop with the fade before you catch one. He did the winners and losers of the trade deadline in the MLB, and that's up. If you're a baseball fan, check that out, even though it's fuck Beerly baseball.
Shout out Alec.
Shout out Big Alec, man. Go. Shout out Paco in the Discord. Shout out Musa in the Discord. Kelvin, he be in there sometimes. Rookie. We got a lot of dudes in the Discord, man. I want to give another shout out to YouTube, man. You guys leave a like on this. If you're listening to the podcast, leave a like, give us 5 stars. And lastly, I mean, if you listen this far through and we're really about to wrap it up, you like the podcast, obviously. Trevor, wouldn't you agree with that?
Facts.
And when you like
Leave
something,
us a review, dog.
not even the review, bro. When you like something, why would you leave it for yourself? So share this to a friend, man. Once again, man, I'm going to keep plugging that up, man. If you really listen through the end, share it to a friend. If you're a friend listening from someone that shared it to you and you listen to the end, send it to a friend. Send it to the end if you listen to a friend.
Facts. Last thing I want to say, we just got a DM 5.5 minutes ago. A guy that just followed us, ISO Row 210 on Twitter. He checked out our stuff and he said, "What you guys are doing is awesome. You guys are living my dream doing this stuff." So if anybody's loving what they're hearing, we got some openings up at Beerly Sports, some behind the scenes stuff. Send us an email at beerlysports@gmail.com. DM us on Twitter at Beerly Sports if you're looking for a job in the sporting world. Get it bouncing, get it moving, and we'll see if we got something we can hook you up. It's the year of the beer.
Hold on. Don't get it yet. Y'all motherfuckers, stop DMing me about a job, bro. Y'all email. Trevor said email, okay? DM him. Fuck, bro, I'm like the 5th option here at this point. I just make the graphics. Do not DM me, bro. I'm not going to be like, "and you're hired, son." You know, fuck you, bro. Good at it. Bow.